Welcome to the Gorge.
Welcome to the Columbia River Gorge.
Bienvenidos. Welcome to our hermoso Columbia Gorge.
Hi, I'm Genevieve Scholl. I'm the Special Projects Manager for the Port of Hood River and a steering committee member for the OneGorge advocacy group. I want to thank you for your continued support. We want to have a conversation about how we can work together to make our gorge and state economies healthier and more connected.
OneGorge as an organization has been created to deal with the issues that need to be addressed in both Salem and Olympia.
There are 6 priority projects we're here to talk to you about. Capital projects, transportation, land use, public safety, the Warm Springs water crisis, and wildfires.
My name is Kevin Greenwood. I'm the Bridge Replacement Project Director for the Port of Hood River. And I'm here to communicate the need to replace the 100-year-old Hood River White Salmon Bridge.
We cannot exist here in the Columbia Gorge without our critical interstate bridges. So 6 million people a year going across those bridges. We've learned also that if we don't get those things buttoned up and replaced and really rock solid and open up our access more, we could be in a world of trouble.
The replacement bridge would allow for emergency vehicles to more easily move across the river into both states, which will provide relief for disasters such as wildfires, derailments, or other issues that may lock up the state and federal highway systems on both sides of the river.
And that is the only thoroughfare into the state of Washington when we need to divert traffic. And it becomes very, very dangerous. It's a parking lot on the bridge. We have traffic backed up for miles.
This is a critical piece of infrastructure for the fruit industry, timber industry, the aeronautic industry, tourism.
Those bridges are just essential.
We are working to build a strong network of transit in the Columbia Gorge.
There's about 5 different transit systems run by the various counties within the gorge, and they're trying to link them all together into one unified system.
All of the 5 county public transportation providers rely on state and federal resources to keep the systems going.
Yes, and CAT links up with all the local public transit systems, and we make 6 trips a day to the Portland Gateway Transit Center.
2 million gorge visitors a year. So just flat out right, we have tiny little communities. Our county is 25,000, but we get 2 million gorge visitors a year. We get another 5 million to Mount Hood National Forest.
And a way to alleviate parking congestion is to have public transit options that can drop us off at trails and allow us to better take care of our natural resources.
So there's both sides of the river. You have rail, you have stuff on barges, you have stuff on semi-trucks. There's an awful lot of transportation going in and out of this community.
We ask our legislators to be proactive and include public transit in all plans, not as an afterthought.
So transportation challenges are the most important problem, I think, that we may face in a disaster.
Wildfire is a huge issue. When we really need to think about it is when we're working on transportation plans and figuring out how to allocate dollars. How do we make sure that we have adequate space and travel routes in place for residents around the state, and especially here in the gorge, because we really only have an east-west corridor. Obviously, this Columbia River creates a lot of activity for public safety related incidents. So while we may be separated by a wide expanse of water, the fact is that we're helping each other day in and day out. We've
seen, our share of wildfires in the gorge area on both sides of the river, but in 2017 we experienced Eagle Creek Fire, which affected Oregon and Washington in the gorge. And that's going to continue to be an issue.
We've seen fires move from normal restorative fires into the era of mega fires, which are unstoppable and create damage of likes of which we've never seen.
We had a real bad fire season, and within our region, the human agony that goes along those issues when they watch the homes burn down, or in our case, the trees. It was a bad year, okay? And the water crisis just added worse to that thought. Water's life. But water goes beyond life. Water is the fish in the consumption of food. Life is what we grow. I mean, it is life for us to survive, but it's also every growth, the air that you breathe, the rain that falls, the ocean that we visit, the rivers that we see floating. Everything is about water. That 1 gallon of water that we take for granted, or that 1 cup of water that's so precious to consume, is what's needed here in Warm Springs. We could certainly use help from the legislators and any other agencies, foundations that could assist our tribes with help.
OneGorge strongly supports funding and policy solutions to help the people of Warm Springs restore their access and infrastructure for clean water.
We're 40 miles from Portland, Oregon, and this is a playground for people from the urban area to come. 99% of our calls for searches or rescues are people that do not reside here.
Search and rescue takes an incredible amount of coordination, resources, assistance. We've got oftentimes 50 plus searchers on the ground that we're managing. And sometimes these situations go on for days.
These are issues that a lot of people forget, that with increased usage on the forest, the costs have gone up dramatically.
So this place is inundated in the spring, summer, and fall with people who are here to enjoy what the federal government and the states have set aside for us to enjoy.
So I think the way that the legislature can help us is really to encourage the Gorge Commission to move forward in policies that are balanced.
We're also advocating a lot for the infrastructure that is needed to keep the urban areas functioning and economically growing. We talk about the bridges as linking the 2 states and the amount of traffic and movement there is between the 2 states, both in commerce and in just general recreation.
So we want a healthy environment, a healthy scenic area, and we also want a healthy economy, because as our economies are healthy, the whole scenic area will be healthy. And this is really a long-term issue. This is not something that we're trying to do for tomorrow or the next day. It's something we're trying to do for the next decade, the next 20 years, and the next 50 years.
All of our counties on both sides of the river, east to west, north to south, Washington, Oregon, we all work really well together.
And so we really need the help from the legislatures to help us with sustainable long-term solutions.
I think what's really important is to forget what state you're in and forget what county you work for, what agency you're with. This whole interconnected river corridor, 2 states, all those different counties, that whole area needs to be treated as an ecosystem. And we really need to look at the needs across that area.
I hope that you'll find time to come back and visit the gorge and find a way to recreate and enjoy yourself.
So come out and visit us.
Wear your mask and come join us on the cat bus so you can text and ride.
Come and visit us in the gorge.